नालसा विक्टिम कॉम्पनसेशन स्कीम के थ्रू कैसे विक्टिम्स को सपोर्ट मिलता
This is a scheme which is for women. It is Women Victim Compensation Scheme,
है? All right.
specifically covering women who have been subjected to some type of crime like the acid attack.
Can you tell us about the concept of POXO Act?
Yes, POXO Act is a special act
Okay.
which deals with minor children who have been victim of crime.
Hello and welcome to the episode 7 of E Street Podcast, where stories meet strategies. And I'm Mokshita. So today's episode is going to be very special. All right, we often talk about justice, but no one knows it reaches on the grounds or not. But today we have someone who ensures that justice reaches every corner of the society. With over 2 decades of experience, she's not just a lawyer, but a change maker. So please welcome Ms. Harleen Kaur.
Thank you so much.
Hi ma'am, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So ma'am, please थोड़ा सा अपनी story के बारे में बताइए, because behind every lawyer there is an inspiring story.
Okay, to begin with, initially during my school, college, I never thought that I would become a lawyer.
Okay.
Though my father was from a legal background, he retired as chief officer, zonal manager from LIC dealing with legal matters. So obviously, I had the legal background. But eventually, by the time I finished my graduation and I had to opt for some option for myself, I opted for law, legal aspect, because I wanted to be able to to be there for people who needed justice, who needed help. And legal help is the best help you can provide somebody whenever needed. So that's how I started my liking towards legal profession, and eventually I opted for this.
All right. So as you mentioned that you already belong to a lawyer family in itself.
Yes.
So do you feel like it made an easy thing for you to start with?
Definitely, because legal profession is not bed of roses. You have to put in a lot of hard work, more hard work once you finish your course, your legal studies. It is
Okay.
all the more difficult. So having my father there and his friends and colleagues, it was very easy for me to come to the profession, start my profession. Yes, my legal background helped me a lot.
Okay. So how your days initially went in this experience?
To be very honest, initially I never put in a lot of hard work. I had my father there and his friends there. I started with Punjab and Haryana High Court, and Sardar Mohinderjeet Singh Sethi, my dad's friend, was my senior. So I had an easy go.
Okay.
And then I assisted another senior lawyer who eventually became High Court judge also. So, but it was all because of my dad's support, and then another person who has been very helpful in my profession. He's my Rakhi brother. So,
Okay.
I mean, I had a lot of support and caring around. So initially, I was not very hardworking. I mean, I had support. I knew I could lean back on them in case of any emergencies. But then with time, obviously, you mature more and you understand things better, and
Yeah.
you start working more harder. And with my goal of helping people, yes, I had to do it myself. So, and then I also have a lot of support from my husband, who's been there for me all the time. And if any initiative I need to take is always there. So that's how now it's very different what initial years are.
Okay. But there would be some challenges.
Challenges, I think for that matter, it is there even today. Every step is a challenge. Every day there's a new challenge, because every day you learn something. And to learn something, you have to be there. You should be prepared for taking up anything. So every day is a challenge. That's never ending. If you want to be there in the profession, every day is a challenge for you.
Like being a woman, if you step into a place where you have to deal with the general public,
Yes.
so is that a thing which made a difficult thing for you?
For me, if I talk about that, no, I did not have, since I had a very protective environment around me. But yes, it is little difficult being a female coming into this profession.
Yeah.
It is not very easy.
Right.
You have like work procurement and then coming to the courts. It's not very easy.
Backlash from the
Yes,
society.
yes. But then for me, it was different having my family and friends around. It was very comfortable for me. I had a protected environment around, so it was different. Yes, otherwise, it is very difficult.
Yeah.
Not an easy
So you
walk.
were privileged to have that protected layer around you.
Yes, definitely. I had that privilege and I enjoyed it to the extent.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about how this legal system works in India. So you have you have handled a lot of cases based upon different sections. It could be some sort of property and criminal cases. So any experience based upon that?
See, as I said, every day is a new experience. Every case has its own intricacies. It has its own facts. So, legal system is like a basic legal system, if I talk about, is the Constitution of India, which says that justice should be delivered to all and everyone should have an access to justice. So, legal system works on the principle of justice to all, giving them help wherever required. So, this is how the system works. And for that, there are various articles. If I talk about the Constitution, which is the basic law of the land, it is the Constitution which gives the framework on the basis of which different acts are enacted, different laws are enacted. So, talking about Article 14, that is the basic article which speaks about the fact that everyone should be equal before law, equality for everybody. So, with this spirit, this equality spirit, various acts, various laws are enacted. So, that is the basic structure for legal system of India.
Can you please tell me about the concept of free legal aid?
Okay, as the name itself speaks about it, free legal aid. That is providing legal aid to people free of cost. That includes giving them help or legal advices, helping them in legal matters, contesting legal matters, coming to courts where it need be. And for all this, nothing is charged from them. Again, coming back to the Constitution of India, the basic law of the land, Article 39A, specifically says that law should be provided, justice should be provided to all sections, specifically the weak, also including the weaker sections of the society. So, free legal aid, this concept has evolved again from our Constitution that free legal aid, free legal help should be provided to all the members of the society, the weaker sections, because if we say at times there are financial constraints because of which you cannot come to the court and you are left out from your rights which you have. So this free legal aid concept, this helps those people, the weaker sections, to even get justice if they do financially, they are not well off, they have some constraints, they cannot approach the court. But this system of free legal aid, going with the spirit of the Constitution, helps every section of the society to come to the court and seek for justice.
And what sort of cases comes under it? Like some must be excluded from these.
See, before that, I'll come to this, that there's a specific act covering free legal aid. That is Legal Services Authorities Act, which 1987. Under this act, specifically, the categories of people who would be covered have been mentioned, and types of cases to be covered, it's all described over there. Types of cases, if we talk about, all types of cases except where prosecution is there. Like say there's a murder trial going on. this is for an example. There you have the prosecution side which contests the matter. So their legal aid, I'm talking about the legal aid authorities, legal aid services act which I've spoken about. Under that there are various legal aid authorities which have been appointed. So there's a hierarchy of that authorities. So this concept covers all types of cases except where prosecution, criminal cases where prosecution is contesting the matter. There you don't get free legal aid counsels, because this, as I said, this is an institution which has been developed under the Legal Services Authorities Act. There, this act provides for institutions which help people specifically for free legal aid. So it covers all civil matters, property matters, matrimonial matters, then your check bounce matters.
Okay.
All these categories are covered.
And if someone wants to seek that free legal aid, so is there any sort of procedure to be followed?
Yes. Before that, I'll let you know who all are covered for the free legal services.
Okay.
Free legal services, the Act itself mentions that women of any category, even if they're working or they're non-working, their financial status may be anything, they are eligible to get free legal aid.
Okay.
Then children, labor class people, SC, ST category people, then your jail inmates, they are covered for this. Then handicapped people or mentally unstable people, they can approach the authorities for free legal aid help. So, and sorry, what
To seek the
procedure
help.
is like you do have online. For that, okay, before I explain the procedure, let me tell you the authorities and how the hierarchy works.
All right.
On the top, we have NALSA, that is National Legal Services Authority, which is based at Delhi. And then we have legal services authorities state level, at the state level, then district level, and then we also have committees, legal services committees at taluka levels.
Okay.
High Court has its own legal services committees. Even the Honorable Supreme Court has its own legal services authorities committee. So this is the hierarchy, how it works. On the top is NALSA, then State Legal Services Authority and District Legal Services Authority.
Okay.
So a person, NALSA has a website where you can go online and you can fill in a form, or you can call the toll-free number, which is 15100, and you can make a complaint there or request there, and then you would be diverted to the area where you belong to. Or you can go directly to your own state or district level or taluka level committees, and you can approach the authorities there and fill in a form. There they have retainers or PLVs, paralegal volunteers in the front offices, who assist you in filling up the forms.
Okay.
Then you can fill up the forms. Then they take affidavits as well. One category which I left out, sorry, was any male who has annual income below 3 lakhs annual income is also eligible to free legal aid. So at that time, they do take affidavits to that extent to cover up that you are actually covered under the categories who are eligible for this. So they help you with the forms and the affidavits. Then it is the secretary, CJM level officer, chief judicial magistrate comes secretary. In the district court, the honorable session judge, district session judge is the chairperson.
Okay.
So then after the forms are filled in, the affidavits are filled in, then depending on whether you are eligible or not, then you are assigned a lawyer from the group of lawyers who are empaneled with the Legal Services Authority. And that lawyer helps you with your litigation. If you want to file a litigation or there's already a litigation going on, they assist you with those litigations without charging anything. And under this concept, everything is covered to the extent that no court fee you have to pay, you don't have to pay any process charges. All is covered by the government. and the institutions, the legal services institution, they cover for all the payments. You are given all the services free of cost. It is not just the litigation, as I had said earlier also, even legal advice. So it is not that you have to go to the court. Legal advice also you can seek wherever, whenever required through these
Okay.
authorities.
So this is how you can seek free legal help, and that is how our government is helping in this. All right, नालसा victim compensation scheme के through कैसे victims को support मिलती है?
This is a scheme which is for women. It is Women Victim Compensation Scheme,
All right.
specifically covering women who have been subjected to some type of crime like the acid attack, rape, grievous injuries. There's a whole list of incidents which are covered, and they have been specifically mentioned in the victim compensation scheme itself, where they would be given compensation. To what extent of compensation would be given, that has also been described in that chart. So this is to help women who have been subjected to some sort of atrocity, some sort of sexual assault or crime, to bring them back to the society emotionally, medically, financially. Like acid attack victim, even जो लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटीज़ हैं वो सुओ मोटो कॉग्निजेंस भी ले सकती हैं अगर उनको मूव नहीं करी गई एप्लीकेशन. इन दैट इवेंट ऑल्सो इफ दे कम टू नो अबाउट एनी सच इंसिडेंट, सुओ मोटो जो है दे कैन टेक कॉग्निजेंस एंड गेट मेडिकल एड फॉर सच अ विक्टिम. So there are specific rules which have been made to help the women victims with compensation. उसमें the points which are considered ki what is the social background of the victim, how much loss she has suffered medically, financially, employment wise, and how many dependents she has even in the event of death. The dependents of women victim can lodge for compensation. इसमें one very important fact which has been mentioned is that it has been made very compulsory for the police stations when they come across such a complaint involving any crime against women, they have to necessarily report to the legal services authorities so that they can be provided with initial medical help where required and compensations to bring them back to the normal life of in the society. Women victim compensation schemes, there is a specific form which is in itself again within the scheme that has to be filled in. But if anybody has any difficulty, again there are front offices in the legal services authorities where they help you out with whatever is required. As I said, dependents would be husband, minor children, major daughter where she's not married, parents, grandparents.
Okay.
So even they can file for compensation, or in whose custody the child, the victim is. I had one matter where the girls lost their mother. The father had actually murdered the mother, and father was lodged in the jail. She has gone into vegetative state or some is unable to be there herself. Whose legal guardianship she is unto, or otherwise in whose care and custody she is, can also file for compensation scheme.
Okay. Since we have discussed about women's safety and the problems that is revolving around our safety, so do you think that the number is increasing day by day in terms of these cases?
See, yes, number is increasing, but with the social media, it is more. The information is more available as well. This was happening earlier also, but it was not so much visible in the society. Now things are, of course, changing. Crime rate, not only with women, otherwise also if we see, crime rate has comparatively gone up.
Yeah.
So yes, women victim if we talk about women victims, they also have been more prone to crime, especially with late working hours, early working hours, metropolitan cities. So things have changed, evolved for better and worse as well at the same time, I would say.
Like if someone approaches the legal service authorities, so how the compensation is released?
Okay, there are actually three compensations, three types, three modes in which it is released. It can be released. One is immediate,
Okay.
which is a very important factor which has been introduced in victim compensation NALSA. Then there is interim and there is final compensation. Immediate is like up to 10,000 rupees. Immediately, when any victim approaches the legal services authorities and they feel the need to release that amount, immediately it can be released. Then, if you then there after the application is moved, as I said, it is compulsory for the police officials also to report to the legal services authorities. Once that is done, along with the FIR and the medical of the victim, then an application is made to the courts to decide the quantum of uh, compensation which is to be released, amount to be released. It is the court which decide how much is to be released. The chart which I had mentioned you, at least 25% of that amount is to be released, but maximum how much, that it is the court which decides. So that is the interim compensation which is released. Once the order comes from the court, then the legal services authorities release that amount.
Okay.
And then at the final stage, when the case, because obviously when there's an FIR, there's a case in the court. So once the proceedings with the court is over, the final, depending on the final outcome, then the final compensation is released. But where the court feels that whatever the outer limit of compensation is, if anything beyond that is also to be given, depending on the condition of the victim, requirement of the victim, that it can go beyond the outer limit also.
Okay.
So it is. It depends on case to case and what the honorable court thinks about it. If there is need for going beyond the outer limit.
And the time span ranges between?
See, there is for if final litigation, there is no time span, because that would depend on the proceedings, how it goes, because there's a specific proceeding which challan has to be presented in the court, then evidence is done, so that takes time. But interim, that has to be decided as soon as possible once the application is moved to the court. And there is also a provision for recovery by the legal services authority where at the end it is found that it was a false case. So it is not that you file for compensation and you're all set, you get the money and then you just move out. If at the end of the proceedings it is found out that it was a false case, then a recovery proceeding can be started against the persons who have claimed the compensation for recovery of the amount by the services authorities.
So the inspections in itself takes a lot of time then?
See, normal court proceedings take their own time, because obviously, as I say, it is principle of natural justice. Both sides are given their opportunity to present their side of the story to the court. And then depending on the evidences, the facts, the court decides. So that procedure has to be necessarily followed.
Can you tell us about the concept of POCSO Act, and is it covered between victim compensation or not?
Yes, POCSO Act is a special act which deals with minor children who have been victim of crime, minor children below the age of 18. POCSO Act, there's one special thing about the POCSO Act, it is gender neutral. Both male and female child is covered under the POCSO Act. Yes, it is a special act. Even there are special courts to deal with POCSO Act cases. But as of now, NALSA Victim Compensation Scheme is covering the compensation for victims under the POCSO Act. So if there is a, as I said, minor children earlier also, so all those minor children, be it a female or a male child, is covered under NALSA compensation scheme, because as of now there is no separate compensation scheme under the POCSO Act covering the minor children. So NALSA, as of now, yes, NALSA victim compensation scheme is covering the minor children, and in case of minor victims, the compensation is 50% more than what has been prescribed in the chart. So 50% more compensation can be given to minor children, is to be given to the minor children.
Do juveniles also get the right to free legal aid? But before that, I want you to tell about what is actually juvenile.
Juvenile is again anybody below the age of 18, okay. Yes. Those who are in conflict with law. There is a special court again, Juvenile Justice Board, where there's one judicial officer who is the presiding officer, and then there are the members, okay, who may be from social background. This is basically to help them, to bring them back to a normal society, to refine them, reframe them. Juveniles cannot be lodged in normal jails. They are reformatory homes if they are found guilty, or during the trial if they have to be lodged. So they're in juvenile, they're reformatory homes where they are lodged. And there has been a drastic change after the much known that case, Nirbhaya case. Earlier, anybody till the age of 18, below the age of 18, was would get the benefit of Juvenile Justice Act, where the term of sentence is maximum 3 years. It was maximum 3 years, and beyond that, you could you are set free. But with that case, with a lot of demand and a lot of voices, there was a change which was brought. Okay. And anybody now from the age of 16, if they can well understand the nature of the crime which has been committed, then they are tried by separate court, not by the Juvenile Justice Board. Okay. They are not given the privilege of being a juvenile. They have to be tried as a normal person, though there are separate courts for that also. They are tried by those courts if there's a heinous crime which has been committed and they understand the nature of the crime which they have committed. But of course, being juveniles, they have access to free legal aid, as I had already said, minor children. So they do have this right to get free legal aid if they need, and they cannot afford a counsel, they cannot afford a lawyer. Okay. So free legal aid covers them also.
Okay. So what do you feel is the root cause of the juvenile cases happening all around?
See, there can be many reasons contributing to it. Less money, too much money, and not enough attention from the parents, because the way hectic life is today, working with the multinational companies, parents are too busy with their jobs, so not giving enough attention to the children, letting them throw any amount of money. So there are many reasons. Weaker sections, obviously, not having enough money, not having enough privileges of life, not even the basic necessities of life, dragging them towards the wrong side of the life. So this is a social issue. Like, there can be many reasons for that. We have cases where children, obviously not having even the basic necessities of life, tend to go the wrong way to get what they want in their life, parents not being able to provide them with that. Then we have cases where parents having too much of money, children tend to get spoiled because of that and squander the money. They don't care for anybody because they know they have a backing to support them in case they get involved with something wrong.
Definitely.
We have one case from the last year where such thing happened in Pune.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's like a lot of matters, lot of social issues are there. There's nothing legally involved in bringing a child in conflict with law. I would say there's a social side to that.
So we can't blame the education, we can't blame the background or any sort of upbringing.
See, education obviously never teaches you anything wrong.
Yeah.
It is वो कहते हैं ज्ञान है ये तो ever ending है. It only takes you to the positive side of your life. But at times वो आपको जो एक attitude towards life है वो change हो जाता है जब आपके parents आपको support नहीं कर पाते या आपको बहुत ज़्यादा support करते हैं.
Yeah.
So, because teaching right and wrong, yes, is necessary. But then कई बार वो parents भी उनके हाथ में भी नहीं होता. They don't even know what is happening with their child because they're too busy in their own life.
Yeah.
So that contributes towards bringing a child in conflict with law, bringing a juvenile in conflict with law. So yes, there are various social issues which bring this change in a child apart from their education. I mean, education has nothing to do.
Okay.
Upbringing, parents, वैसे तो देखा जाए तो हर parent best upbringing देता है. Working hard for their children, obviously. But yes, there are like because जब हम अपने बच्चे को ignore कर रहे हैं to some extent, we are responsible for that, not them. So this is why it is to reform them, not to punish them. This is what the act says.
Yeah.
You have to help them reform and come back to the society and not punish them for a event which has happened.
So can you please tell me about the concept of mediation and Lok Adalat?
These are very two important concepts which are working these days, and courts, as a matter of fact, are trying to inculcate this in the proceedings. Mediation क्या होता है कि there's a litigation is specifically talking about say matrimonial matters. Because when you go to the court, it takes number of years when actually the matter gets settled. Mediation is a process where trained mediators are appointed. पहले the courts, I'm specifically talking about the matrimonial courts, they themselves try to mediate between the parties and bring in an amicable settlement ताकि मैटर जल्दी रिजॉल्व हो सके. बिकॉज जितना मैटर लंबा चलेगा, एक तो relationships are lost, then financial strains on both sides.
Yeah.
Even if you have a free legal aid for that matter, take एक party क्या है, but still you're investing your life, your time into it. So you're wasting all those precious years of your life. So mediation के through एक amicable settlement लाने की कोशिश की जाती है कि okay, see if you can. Basically क्या होते हैं ego issues जैसे involved हैं, उनको सेटल करने के लिए मीडिएटर कोशिश करते हैं कि bring them down कि भी where you can compromise, where there's a possibility of compromise, a compromise takes place and families go together back.
Okay.
Because obviously वो कहते हैं ना धागे में जब गांठ लग जाती है उसको खोलना मुश्किल हो जाता है. तो जितने years कोर्ट में स्ट्रगल में निकलते हैं उतने strained relations होते जाते हैं और parties को together लाना it becomes very difficult. But initially only in matrimonial courts they have to try and bring an amicable settlement कि even if you say for that matter you cannot live together, then you can amicably sit, decide your terms, and you can part ways through mutual consent divorce. There's a process, like otherwise divorce matters do take longer times, but एक mutual consent के through divorce you can file where it takes shorter period. It is like after your further two statements which are made in the court. After the first statement, the court gives you 6 months time to rethink about your decision if you want to get back together. If you don't want to, then after 6 months, a date is fixed by the court.
Okay.
And then it pronounces divorce after again recording your statement, yes, that we want to go ahead with this divorce.
Okay.
So ये मतलब वो एमिकेबल मीडिएशन के थ्रू एक सिर्फ एफर्ट किया जाता है ताकि एमिकेबली विदाउट वेस्टिंग टाइम, मनी, एनर्जी, सेटलमेंट कैन बी ब्रॉट बिटवीन द पार्टीज़. इसी तरह लोक अदालत भी जो है वहाँ पे लोक अदालत 2 तरह की है. एक लोक अदालत है जहाँ पे लिटिगेशंस ऑलरेडी चल रही हैं और एमिकेबली उनको रिजॉल्व करने के लिए लोक अदालत भी ट्राई करती है. ये डिफरेंट पीरियड्स में लोक अदालत कंडक्ट होती है एज पर नालसा गाइडलाइंस. तो वहाँ डिफरेंट डेट्स आर फिक्स्ड. वो जब लोक अदालत में अगेन जैसे कुछ मैटर्स इन्वॉल्विंग 138 के मैटर्स हैं ना, दैट इज़ नेगोशिएबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट है, चेक बाउंसिंग के मैटर्स
Okay.
हैं, मैट्रिमोनियल मैटर्स हैं, प्रॉपर्टी से रिलेटेड मैटर्स हैं जो नॉर्मल हैं, मतलब नॉट वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड मैटर्स. वहाँ पे लोक अदालत के थ्रू भी ट्राई किया जाता है कि एमिकेबली उसको सेटल कर दें और उस टाइम पे ऑर्डर पास लोक अदालत करती है विच इज़ इक्विवेलेंट टू अ डिक्री विच इज़ पास्ड बाय द कोर्ट.
Okay.
So, Lok Adalat concept again is very important these days because again an effort to resolve matters in lesser time, quicker remedy and जैसे अब मैं property matters बोली, मान लो family में dispute है between 2 brothers and an amicable settlement through Lok Adalat is arrived at, then that helps to maintain the relationships also. So
Okay.
these are 2 very important concepts. और जो permanent लोक अदालत है उसका that is a pre-litigative effort. मतलब जो आपकी litigation लोक अदालत तो तब है जब आपके मैटर ऑलरेडी चल रहे हैं कोर्ट में और आप उसको रिजॉल्व करना चाहते हो. मैटर्स रेफर टू द लोक अदालत जब भी कंडक्ट होती है लोक अदालत. परमानेंट लोक अदालत जो है ये परमानेंटली लगती है और कोई भी केस फाइल होने से पहले यू कैन फाइल योर मैटर टू द परमानेंट लोक अदालत रिलेटिंग टू पब्लिक यूटिलिटीज़. जैसे गैस का कोई प्रॉब्लम कनेक्शन का, बैंक अकाउंट में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, एफडीज़ में कोई प्रॉब्लम आ गई, या आपकी कोई नेम करेक्शन चाहिए जो नहीं कर रहा डिपार्टमेंट, स्कूल, कॉलेज.
Okay.
So such like matters you can bring to permanent लोक अदालत and वहाँ पे मेन एक प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर होते हैं जो रिटायर्ड डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज या एडिशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज होते हैं and 2 other members who again are from the society with social background in social work. So they, because such like matters not only need legal intervention but also social intervention. Because आप एक समझौते की तरह चलते हैं इनको
Yeah.
रिजॉल्व करवाने. So permanent लोक अदालत also first and foremost effort which is made is to reconcile the matter between the parties, get an amicable settlement. Coin होती हैं terms of settlement. So if both parties agree, then settlement is arrived at. Unless they have to go on merit, parties नहीं मानती, they have to go on merit, and then an order is passed which is equivalent to a decree, and there is no appeal in that.
Okay.
So you can otherwise go to the High Court in a writ petition, but appeal नहीं हो सकती उसमें. So public utility matters के लिए instead of going to civil court, which takes lot of time, so आप permanent लोक अदालत आ सकते हो. और for that matter you can also approach the consumer courts. Consumer court में कुछ आपकी कोर्ट फी लगती है. if the matter is below 5 lakhs फिर कुछ नहीं लगेगी, but if it is above 5 lakh कोई अमाउंट आपका है तो वहाँ पे कोर्ट फी लगती है, but परमानेंट लोक अदालत में वो भी नहीं लगती.
Okay.
सो ये कंसेप्ट्स हैं जो इंट्रोड्यूस किए गए हैं फॉर ब्रिंगिंग क्विकर रेमेडी, एमिकेबल सेटलमेंट्स, सेविंग रिलेशनशिप्स and money, time, energy. So these are very important concepts these days which are being specifically stressed upon by the courts, NALSA schemes to save people from their hectic.
So in terms of property related cases, यहाँ पे mediation का कितना important role है?
That I would again say it can be very effective
Okay.
depending on various factors, how well trained the mediator is and the intention of the parties. क्योंकि कई बार क्या होता है आप मैटर रेफर करवा लेते हैं मीडिएटर बट यू आर नॉट एक्चुअली इंटरेस्टेड इन रिजॉल्विंग द मैटर. सो इफ़ योर इंटेंशंस आर नॉट एक्चुअली टू रिजॉल्व तो आप किसी भी टर्म पे मानोगे ही नहीं. So it's like intention of the parties which have come to the mediation table. That also matters, and how well trained a mediator is to handle a matter. Of course, for that matter, any type of case can be resolved through mediation. Because देखो कुछ लाइफ में लेने के लिए पाने के लिए you at times you have to give and take.
Yeah.
So unless adamant attitude है कि सिर्फ take वाला है तो that nothing can be resolved through that. Even normal life में if we talk about it, it was always give and take. So उसमें mediators, of course, it can play a very effective role in solving matters even related to properties.
Okay, अगर properties की हम बात कर ही रहे हैं, so one thing which is very common, like it's a very common problem, that is two daughters have right on their parental or ancestral properties. And उसके लिए अगर कोई specific act बना हो तो आप प्लीज उसके बारे में बताइए.
Hindu Succession Act है जिसमें amendment आई थी because earlier to 2015 women did not have right to the ancestral property. It was only the male child. But now, obviously, as just हमने जो शुरुआत की थी Constitution of India, it speaks specifically about equality.
Okay.
So there are various sections which speak about equality. So उसमें women are equal to men.
Definitely.
Going by that spirit, yes, there have been many amendments which have been brought for the upliftment of rights of the women. Even with this Hindu Succession Act, there was an amendment where the women have been given equal right as their brothers.
Okay.
तो बाकी practice में कई बार अभी भी male child is preferred over a female child, unfortunately. But legal में अगर हम बात करें तो there is equality amongst both.
Okay. But if she feels like her right is being exploited, so can she file a case?
Yes, of course. As I said कि जो women free legal aid की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so they can get counsel from free legal aid without paying anything.
Okay.
और जो property से related matters होते हैं उसमें जैसे court fee भी लगनी है depending on the value of the property. When you're going through free legal aid, you are covered for that also. So any women who feels कि मेरा right infringe हो रहा है, I'm not being given my rightful claim, can definitely approach the court. And for that matter, even if she's earning or she's not earning, she can go through the free legal aid services and take advantage of this policy for helping them.
Okay. But sometimes it happens that like parents are against the women, or maybe the parents died when she was a child and brother takeovers that right. So
These are social aspects. As I said, legally she has every right.
okay.
बाकी वो है कि आपको अपने right के लिए तो खुद
It
खड़ा
depends
होना
upon the
पड़ेगा.
case.
Yes,
Yeah.
case to case, and then obviously you have to stand for your rights. Nobody else would do that. You have to, if you have a right, you have to stand for it. वो आप जब तक बोलोगे नहीं तो आपको मिलेगा नहीं. तो वो तो this effort you have, the female, she has to make, that she stands up for her rights and she fights for it. Because legally आपको already, as I've said, कि she'll get all the benefit, she'll get all the help through the legal aid services authorities. So she has to come forward and file and fight.
Okay. So NALSA recently introduced Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana. What's your take on that?
This is again an important and very good initiative taken by NALSA under the present executive chairman, Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, which has been introduced to provide and help speedy remedy to the members of the forces
Okay.
and their families.
Yeah.
Because they are there serving our nations, risking their lives for us.
Yes.
So, if there is any dispute involving them or their families, an effort is being made that we are there to help you come out of this as a speedy answer to any litigation. एंड इसमें आपके फोर्सेस जो आपके 3 है फोर्सेस एयरफोर्स आर्मी नेवी दे आर कवर अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट इवन योर अदर पैरामिलिट्री जो एजेंसी फोर्सेस हैं दे आर कवर्ड लाइक CRPF है इंडो टिबेटन बॉर्डर फोर्स है एंड ऑल सच दे आर ऑल्सो कवर्ड अंडर द पॉलिसी टू हेल्प देम दैट वो कहते हैं ना आप बेखौफ होके आप सरहदें देखें आपको हम देख रहे हैं. So to give inculcate in them confidence that yes, if anything, because obviously when you have anything going on, आपके back of the mind that stress and strain is there.
Yeah.
To help them come out of it, this scheme has been introduced by NALSA to help our people, those people who are there at the borders, at the front, to give them more secured atmosphere.
Well, that's a wonderful step. Okay, so let's discuss about the sexual harassment around workplaces happening.
See, there's a specific act which has been made to help women who are in the working sectors. Both organized and unorganized sectors are covered under the act. Sexual Harassment Workplace Prevention Act. Here, anybody who is subjected to sexual harassment, it doesn't have to be actual physical harassment. It can be mental harassment. It can be through gestures. It can be through something like pornography, showing you some uncalled for photographs or images. So it's both orally through verbal remarks, and it can be through gestures. To safeguard women with such kind of environment, this act has been enacted to help them provide a safe workplace where they can feel safe, they can come, they can work without having any tension, without any kind of burden on them. This would also include like if you have any demand by your senior asking for sexual favors, in lieu of that you would be given promotions, or if not you would be demoted. So any such conduct that tantamounts to sexual harassment. And under the act it has been made compulsory that any organization where there are 10 and more people, they have to have a sexual harassment committee.
Okay.
In which there are members like from the organization, the senior most female worker is the presiding officer. Then there are the members. One member, the ratio would be more of women to male members. Then the one member who is from outside, who is actively working with some NGO or doing some kind of social work, is made member of such a committee.
Okay.
Even unorganized sectors like housemaids and labor class, for such people there is at government local level there's a committee, local committee, which takes such kind of complaints and action is taken on against the accused person.
Okay.
So this is to safeguard them, give them a healthy work environment. Again, going by the spirit of the Constitution of India, which specifically says for providing safe workplace for women.
All right. So that was all about the organized places. What about the unorganized places?
Yeah, unorganized, as I said, the local government at the local level, in tehsils, they have local committees where unorganized sectors, including the housemaids, your labor class people who work as laborers, they can go and lodge complaint if they are being victim of
Okay.
sexual harassment.
All right.
So, and there's a time bound period where when a complaint is lodged, a procedure is to be specifically followed. And again, following principle of natural justice, both the parties are given equal opportunity to present their case, and additional evidence where and when required. The committee has the power, similar to a civil court. They can call witnesses, they can call for any documentation where required, and decide the matter. So, a couple of years back, we had a very famous case where a housemaid had made a complaint against one of the rising actors. But then, because of that complaint, that actor actually
Lost his career.
his career. So, it's like, I mean, safeguards are there, of course. It is only we who have to take the initiative, come forward, because कई बार social stigma भी आ जाता है बीच में, लोग क्या कहेंगे,
Yeah.
उसी डर से हम आगे आते नहीं हैं. So if you want to fight for your rights, you have to come forward and fight for that.
Definitely.
And again, NALSA schemes, so National Services Authorities policies are there to help people who want to fight for their rights come forward and fight.
Okay. Do you feel like more preference is given to women and children in terms of law?
See, women has been subjected to various phases of position in life from, say, old times, say talking about Rig Veda times till date.
Yeah.
So at one point of time, all Rig Veda times, they were held in very high position. But with progress of time, she eventually became inferior to males. Male child were being preferred over female child. We've heard about sati, we've heard about child marriage, female feticide. So as the time progressed, women became inferior to male. Going by that picture, the constitution, again coming back because that is the basic law of the land, made special provisions that women could be uplifted from being inferior to males. Article 15 specifically says that and empowers the states to make special laws where the need be for the upliftment of the women and children for their protection. So, because women had like these there have been various movements feticide because they did not want a female child. So though now obviously going as by the article 15 of the constitution, we have various laws like child marriage is prohibited.
Yeah.
And we had Raja Ram Mohan Roy, specific
this.
reformer, who actually first stood against this sati system. So we have the sati system is banned in India. Female feticide, if we go for now, it is all banned. You cannot have sex determination at the centers, scanning centers, because every individual, every life which is coming has a right to live,
Right.
be it a male child or a female child.
Yeah.
So various laws have been introduced to help that this discrimination does not take place. So various laws obviously have been made to safeguard and abolish system like female feticide.
Government is already undertaking a lot of initiatives to ensure women's safety.
Yes.
And one is Sakhi
One-Stop
Center.
Yes. This is again an initiative by the government, which at state level is being run by state and district authorities. This is an institution where they provide boarding and lodging to women victims. For example, talking about a victim of domestic violence and they've been thrown out of the house, say at the middle of the night, they have no place to go. This is an institution where they can approach
Okay.
and they will be given free boarding and lodging for 5 days, up till 5 days. Even this organization coordinates with other departments like the police, where medical aid is required, the hospitals, government hospitals, to help them. So this is a place which is given to women victims to come and find a secured environment. So even the women helpline number 181, that is now connected with Sakhi One Stop Centers. So if there is any call for help, they get connected to Sakhi One Stop Centers, and the coordinators there, the team there, will assist the victim, the female victim who needs help, how to go about her rights and how to go about, because this center also has legal lawyers, which they also coordinate with district legal services authorities at district levels and provide even the legal counseling apart from their other counseling. They also give them legal counseling, legal help where the women victim requires. And
Now, moving beyond the courtroom, you have your own NGO. So,
Yes.
could you please tell us about it a bit more?
I have two NGOs. I'm working with two NGOs. One is Buddy Foundation. We work towards, apart from other things, we also work basically on upliftment of women, providing and helping women come forward in various walks of life. A couple of years back, we also had a training session for women for taxi driving. So bringing out women, helping them in all walks of life. Nothing is restricted, nothing is limited. वो कहते हैं ना आसमान छूना है. So helping them come out and stand for themselves. Another NGO, in that we are basically covering the environmental issues like water wastage, wastage of natural resources. So there we work towards conservation of resources, like talking about rainwater harvesting. That has become compulsory now in Chandigarh. Administration is also working towards it. Then your solar panel installations, that is an important step which is being introduced again. Now, with time, the government is also evolving various rules to bring in these conservations to help, because water level is depleting, ever depleting. Every day it is going down, and it is we people who are contributing towards it. पहले होता था बारिश का पानी नीचे जाता था. Now it is not, because enough plastic is being used, which is not biodegradable. Still, ban होने के बावजूद भी, it's not banned everywhere. Where it is banned, वो भी various forms आ जाती हैं उसको change करके. So basically we work towards awareness, because बूंद बूंद से सागर भरता है. Every effort counts. And until and unless we are awakened towards it, we feel the need for it, nobody can actually, force you to do it. हम सिर्फ बोलेंगे, वो सुन के लोग हटा देते हैं, बट एक बेसिक नेसेसिटी उसकी जो है, जब हम उसको अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे, बिकॉज वी आर लीविंग नथिंग फॉर आवर फ्यूचर जनरेशंस. वी हैव एंजॉयड एवरीथिंग, बट नाउ फॉर द फ्यूचर जनरेशंस, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट, they have started to feel difficulty for everything. I remember, this is, I'm talking about, say, 2015-16. We used to do street plays. So there we had, we were working on water depletion. So water bottle की बात आती थी कि भाई ये पानी की bottle, it is 100 rupees, 150 rupees. और आज आप देखो, it is actually happening. This just over a couple of years. This is the scenario now. You go to a hotel or some place. वो वाटर बॉटल आपकी, वही पानी जो फ्री में होता था, उसको you have to pay. Even if you have to pay 30 rupees, 50 rupees, still you're paying for something which is abundantly available. It was abundantly available, and it is becoming scarce. So what are we waiting for? We all need to wake up right now and save our future generations from all the degeneration which is happening today.
So what major initiatives you're taking right now?
For those, like, it is basically informative. Schools and colleges we cover, बिकॉज बच्चे नींव है हमारे, फ्यूचर वो है। और जब आप बच्चों में एक हैबिट इनकलकेट करने में सक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं, वो अपनी फैमिली में खुद कर देते हैं,
Okay.
because they are more pure and more clear.
Yeah.
So when you, and I have seen that happening at my place also. There were certain habits which I gave my son. He tries to follow them even today. He's a major now. So it's like when you cover that section of the society, that helps you bring in the change more easily rather than going to elders and trying explaining it to them. So we conduct various sessions, and like for women empowerment, we do help wherever required in education, helping them financially for education and other aspects.
Okay, so how do you seek volunteers and members? And
It is
currently how many-
volunteer. Volunteers are volunteer.
Okay.
So those like-minded people, because you cannot force again in somebody
Yeah,
into
definitely
this. Like-minded people, when you talk to different people, you do happen to get like-minded people. They come and join. So at times you are with limited resources, at times you are at a better end. So it goes accordingly.
Okay. So before we wrap up, let's talk about you as a person. So ऐसा कोई proudest moment आपकी journey का, आपके career का अब तक?
See, when you are appreciated for your work, that is the biggest push you get, and the proudest moment. So, and of course, your hard work needs to be there. Though I still have lot to achieve,
Okay.
still a long way to go. But yes, obviously, when you're appreciated for your work, your sincerity, that gives me a lot of boost and helps me to keep going on.
Okay.
And life is going on, yes.
And how do you manage that balance between your social, personal, and professional life?
For that, it is the family support which counts the most. My husband is the biggest supporter. Wherever there are times when you get tired, you don't want to, or something happens, but he's the one who keeps pushing me to go on and go versatile on my field, capture new things, new goals. So, and of course, my family, my in-laws, my father is no more, but he was a big support, and anything I achieved made him very proud. My in-laws are there who support me because I am out odd hours at times, long hours, but they're there, they help me. They're there to support. So it's my son, my mother, everybody appreciates when I achieve anything. So that's the
That's
biggest thing, biggest support I get.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm being able to be there working and balancing between my family life and my professional life, because profession needs a lot of time, energy. I have somebody in the same field, and he always says it's a jealous mistress. So it asks and demands a lot from you, but
Yeah.
without the support of your family, your friends also for that matter, who are there to cheer you up when you need and talk your stresses out, it is not possible without all of them. Yes, thanks to all of them.
Yeah, family help, family support is the most crucial thing.
Yes,
and the crucial
and the team with
and the
which we are working together, my
and your
whole team.
determination as well.
No, but like when you get like-minded people, you get support. My whole team is very supportive. We all work together. Like I have somebody who's like a daughter to me. She's there to help me and support me. So it's like, I mean, my whole team, my whole family, my friends, everybody is there who keep pushing me to go on and
Okay.
achieve what I want.
Don't you feel like, taking a break, a short break, and going on to a vacation?
My husband helps me out on that. We do take our breaks, of course. And
It is important.
but for routine, as I said, your friends, your family, my workplace, they all are there to inculcate, fresh energy into you. So because every day you need it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's their breaks, of course, there, but eventually you are coming back to the same place.
Yeah.
So your place of work needs to be more energetic and more happy. So we work towards making each other more happy and more comfortable, so
Alright.
that we can go.
So you recently talked about that you have more vision. There's a lot to do more. So what do you want to do next? What's the next step?
I mean, there's still a lot of milestones to cover. There, I think I'm nowhere, but
Alright.
still a lot of things to. I mean, it's a never-ending process.
Yeah.
I am doing my doctorate as of now in law.
Okay.
But for my professional field also, I would want to keep going and also help people where required by, I mean, not just the professional fee matters, but your personal satisfaction also matters. And I am happy about that.
That's a great approach. In fact, a never ending process.
Yes, it's a never ending process. Learning is a never ending process.
Yeah.
So I think we should keep going on.
So you don't want to restrict yourself in a particular thing.
No, I explore whatever I can. I have been into various things throughout my life. I was a classical dancer.
Wow.
I have done graduation in dance, apart from my regular studies. I've done theater. I've done a couple of things like during my college times. So I've explored everything. I was adventurous. Fortunately, I got a very good family, very good husband who's never stopped me from doing anything. So I want to keep going.
So any message from your side that you want to give to our young generation who's hustling?
Be positive in your approach. Target, keep going, never stop, and never say this is the end of it. Keep achieving because life keeps giving you a lot. You have to take it and you have to stand for it. Stand for your rights. Stand for what is right, not what is wrong. Raise your voice when it is wrong and help people who need. Because if you are the blessed one, you should always be there to help others.
Well, I had a great conversation with you and it was a lovely chat. And I hope we will meet soon once again.
Definitely.
And I will try my best to, widen my scope
No, thank
around
you.
law. So I
I've
can
learned
explore
from
more.
you as well. I've learned because see, there's learning every
Yeah.
time. So I've learned from you.
I got
I'm
to
happy
know.
to be here with you, and
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you
It's
so much.
really great and really honorable to have you on this.
pleasure's all mine. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.